Hey, what's up guys? Your average wargamer is back with another video of World of Warships. And in this video, I'm going to be featuring another Malta gameplay, which is a tier 10 aircraft carrier. It is available currently for call, and I want to showcase this amazing gameplay, and this will definitely going to feature a lot of the strengths that Malta really has. And honestly, it does have so much versatility with these rockets, with these bombs and torpedoes that, I mean, it is absolutely insane. It is one of the best tier 10 aircraft carriers if you know what you're doing. And if you pick the right targets, which you will able to see that I will do in this game, you will actually able to do so much impact in the game that I think other carriers might not able to do that. So in this case, I just able to spot the Khabarovsk and dropping the rockets on this guy and basically rocket him a bit. Like I got only 2 rockets because my aim was not really the best. But then there is a Yamagiri who got spotted, and I mean rockets are really notoriously good against destroyers, and this time you will able to see that I did like what 5,000 damage to the Yamagiri. So basically chunked him to like around 16,000 HP remaining, which is pretty nice. So with only rockets I managed to get 7,000 damage, which is pretty impressive. Did some damage to Khabarovsk, which was sort of not the best, but again, only couple of rocket hits with the alpha damage of 2,000 and like 2,350 would be enough to basically do a lot of damage. Now in this case, there was I think the Dalarna or something who actually tried to said to me that please spot the destroyer at A. And I'm expecting this to be another Yamagiri since they have this matchmaking in which they do have Brisbane and Jinan. And I will talk about that later. But this, like, just keep watching it. It's gonna be insane game. I can tell you one thing. Now here, the Yamagiri actually smoked up pretty quickly because he realizes that, well, I'm going to spot him. But I just sent the random torps into the smoke because I was expecting him to be in a hiding position. Jinan actually popped defensive air fire. And luckily, I got a torpedo hit on that poor Yamagiri. But here's the mistake the Yamagiri did, like, it's gonna cost this ship, like, all of his HP. He basically reverses and basically going back into the smoke, which is a terrible idea. I basically caught him off guard here, and I got 3 torpedo hits, and Goodall knew managed to kill the Yamagiri, and he got the first blood. And I did like what 27,000 damage to only destroyers at the moment. Pretty much hilarious, right? And that is absolutely the case. Now coming back with the versatility, we have these AP bombs. I use the rockets and even torpedoes on a destroyer, but AP bombs, particularly on Jinan and Brisbane, which are in this game, can be extremely devastating. I mean, they have nerfed the AP bombs, and the bombs actually are in low number in terms of dropping in terms of their payload, but still, I mean, Jinan and Brisbane does have like wide and big citadel, and you can see here that I did like what 14,000 damage to the Jinan with just a single drop, even after the nerf. And I'm basically going through Shikishima, Jinan A like that. Did get some planes shot down, like they do shot down some planes, but again, look at that damage, 10,900 or say 10,019 again. So in just 2 drops, I basically devastated this Jinan with almost like 25,000 damage, which is it's hilariously broken for sure. I mean, this is definitely a nightmare cruiser, like for cruisers, and for light cruisers, it is absolutely true. Now, I tried to ask my teammates, or at least in this case, in this game particularly, those teammates like Kurfus Dalarna, to basically focus fire this Jinan. And Jinan actually comes out of the smoke, and he actually getting hydroed by Goodall, if I'm not wrong, but it could be anything. I mean, he's also possibly getting, what do we call it? Proxy spotted. Yeah, he's proxy spotted by Goodall. And then I'm coming back with torpedo bombers. Now, torpedo bombers obviously are pretty good. By the way, I think if you didn't see, I actually put the plane around midway, torpedo bombers, defending my Kurfürst, which is really nice. And then there's Shikishima that is trying to turn into those torpedoes. But again, Malta torpedoes are pretty good in getting floods. And I think I will probably going to get a flood here, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, I did get a flood because I hit on the bow. The flood chance of Malta torpedo bombers is pretty good, to be honest. And I basically did some decent damage, killing the Jinan and basically, force the Shikishima to DCP, I think. No, he's actually permanently flooded. I didn't realize it. I mean, I was playing the game and I thought that he might dissipate, but never mind. I will just get free flood damage anyway. But well, I taken down the Jinan with AP bombs, but then there is a Brisbane. And Brisbane does not have smoke, unlike Jinan. And Brisbane is also very, very vulnerable to AP bombs. And in this case, please watch this, because it's gonna be insane. Like this Brisbane, he was in a pretty bad position, to be honest, because I don't know, I thought that he might be kiting at the moment, but instead he decided to push. He decided to play a bit riskier role, and this will definitely gonna be a bit of a problem here. Now Brisbane, obviously, he realizes this big threat, and I dropped this guy with some bombs, and well, RNG is not the best, but I still did what, 10, at least 10,000 damage, which is not that bad, but still, it could be a lot better. Now I have another strike remaining, right? I perfectly aligned the strike, and this time, well, guess what's gonna happen? I got 5 Citadel hits, and he got devastated by these bombs, giving me a devastating strike. Pretty hilarious to watch, right? So that guy basically died in just 2 strikes. I did 34,000 damage in just 2 strikes. That is pretty much broken. I mean, Brisbane doesn't have a smoke, which basically makes life even hard for this poor guy to deal with Malta planes. But that's basically the truth of the Malta. The versatility that you can actually get from these planes is pretty nice. Now, in this case, I'm also giving some value to my teammates, right? In this case, I was going through Yamagiri, I was crossing Yamagiri with my planes, and I saw that the Midway actually trying to send torpedo bombers on this poor guy. He was actually flanking, and I decided to give him some fighters, and Midway actually get caught with this, and he will get his plane shot down, which is pretty nice. I saw this, and I basically shoot down 5 of his torpedo planes, which is actually pretty valuable in the late part of the game. Now, coming back to the torpedo bombers. Torpedo bombers of Malta does, well, 6,533 damage. They also buffed them by nerfing AP bombs and buffing slightly torpedo bombers in return, which I'm not sure if it's a good idea, but well, that does give even more value, of Malta torpedo bombers. And in this case, I'm dropping this Tatara, who is actually trying to play well, trying to play in a safe position, and trying to basically have this flank hold it out. But unfortunately, once I saw that I will be able to take down the Tatara myself, I have taken this chance. I killed the Tatara, and by the way, I got 4 torpedo floods, which basically means that if you have Andrew Cunningham, which I would highly recommend on Malta, you will have increase of plane speed, which is 5%, which is pretty nice. Now you can actually able to have lot much more speed. Now this is more getting closer to the levels of Hakuryu, because 200 knots of speed with these tanky planes, way tanky planes than Hakuryu or Japanese planes, is a lot much more powerful. And well, there's also one more versatility of these AP bombs. I showcased these AP bombs against cruisers, Khabarovsk, and there are a couple of destroyers that actually can be penetrated on their decks with these AP bombs. In this case, I missed the Khabarovsk completely, which is sometimes RNG definitely rolls a bit against us with AP bombs, but still, I will try to drop this guy again, since I can actually able to drop him 2 times, and he won't be able to shoot down much planes. He's trying to turn in, but well, this time I will get some penetration. As you can see here, I got 2 penetration and 3 over penetrations, and hence I did 4,000 damage, which is almost similar levels of damage that you can typically get from rocket planes, the HE rockets of the Malta, which is pretty nice. Now I did again 1 overpen, so did 430 damage, which is okay. I mean, Malta does pretty well basically to all sort of ship classes, and that's the reason why I really love Malta. Now here in this case, the Khabarovsk is actually trying to flank, and hence the reason why instead of focusing the Satsuma and the other battleship John Bart, I decided to focus on Khabarovsk. And Khabarovsk is obviously very close. He can actually flank and spot me, which I don't want to do this because Malta has really bad armor. and I stated this multiple times, that don't try to get spotted in Malta a lot, because if there's a very half decent battleship that does shoot you, well, you will basically going to have really hard time doing anything, because you will take a lot of damage because of its poor hull that it has. Now, I used torpedo bombers against this Khabarovsk, trying to basically get some torpedoes, because as I said, if I caught Yamagiri with torpedoes, then you can also caught this Khabarovsk. But Khabarovsk is actually a decent player. He knows what he's doing. But again, I was trying to basically keep him spotted, and meanwhile Slava, with my division mate, actually trying to shoot him and doing pretty nice damage. Even I think the Kurfürst shoot the Khabarovsk here, and you can see that you can actually maneuver during attack run. But in this case, Khabarovsk do understand and realizes the situation. He slowed down, speed juked, and turned out, which again, understandable. He's doing the right thing. And well, then I just focused on Satsuma, since Khabarovsk is in a back foot. Satsuma obviously is pushing, and my concern is that I might get spotted by Satsuma, since he actually started to push straight away. Like, he started to realize the situation that if he doesn't push, they might lose, and that's the reason why this Satsuma is trying to push as much as possible. Now here, by the way, he has his fire run out. He was having a fire, and obviously once that happened, you have so many rockets in payload, and such a big gigantic ship like Satsuma means that you will almost have a really good chance of getting a fire. In this case, Satsuma is not dissipating the fire, and I'm trying to get a fire on the superstructure, which was well, I was unlucky enough, yet lucky at the same time, that I didn't get fire on superstructure, but I did get the fire on the stern, which is a bit weird, but at least you still have a chance of getting, the fire on the superstructure. But anyway, then I'm gonna use torpedo bombers on Satsuma, because this is the bread and butter in taking down these big battleships. Now, Satsuma does actually have very, very tanky, torpedo belt. It does have 59% torpedo belt, or it can potentially go up to 66% if you build it with the torpedo skill. There is a captain skill for that, which increases the torpedo belt even more. But anyways, you can see that 4 torpedoes does almost nothing, because if you hit on the belt, you know that it won't do much damage. But since you do have 2 strikes, I can still do some good damage to Satsuma. And someone shoot the guns, and well, he has 13,000 HP remaining, and the rest of the HP is completely gone by my 4 torpedoes. Basically enough to kill this Satsuma. Now, in this case, I'm using the AP bombs on Khabarovsk again, and hence the reason why you will see that I'm using AP bombs. Otherwise, I could have used the rockets. But I really like that you can actually penetrate Khabarovsk deck with this, because Khabarovsk does have 25mm deck armor. So there's a chance of getting a lot more penetrations than overpens. And the funny thing is that you can sometimes, like Yamagiri, you can do like these sort of shenanigans. Like, I got lucky enough, I got 3 over penetrations and killed the Yamagiri, which is hilarious to watch. But yeah, I got the value out of my strike, which is nice. Now Khabarovsk, again, understanding that he does not have to basically bow in, otherwise he will take a lot of these AP bombs, and he's basically trying to juke that. And that's the reason why, like, this is pretty much the textbook example that you should try to basically dodge the Malta bombs like this. Like, he's trying this pretty nicely. Again, he basically dodged those bombs, because obviously it's a smaller profile, and bombs does have a bit of a wonkier dispersion. So, I mean, they are good against battleships and light cruisers, but sometimes if you don't get destroyers, bow in, well, there is a chance that they will, not going to take these bombs. But still, I have rockets, which I can basically use to basically kill his remaining HP. Or at least my Slava player will eventually able to kill the Khabarovsk, because Khabarovsk really does not have smoke, and obviously it does not have really good AA, so he can't disengage. If I come for him, as you can see here, I'm just dropping this guy. He's gonna turn out again, I believe, and he will show broadside to Slava again. Again, he's doing the right thing, but obviously I got still 5 rocket hits, and that's the versatility you can get. And finally, Slava finishes them off with HE shells, and that's basically the ship Khabarovsk gone. And finally, I'm gonna use these torpedo bombers. And by the way, look at my squadrons. I have 9 planes on deck. By the way, I have some planes coming back. then you have like full torpedo squad, and then you also have a lot of bombs ready as well. And well, that guy in the chat saying that, well, Gigakek Malta Autisto. I don't know what does that mean, but well, it must be really, yeah, you can see that they are really frustrated, and I basically sent some love, because why not? And then I basically started to drop torpedoes on the Vermont obviously using defensive AFR. And well, I can get some damage hopefully, and in this case I might have a good chance of doing some damage. In this case I did like what, 2 torpedo hits, and then the game is actually over. So it was a decent game at the end. And you can see the chat gets hilarious because my division mate is saying that, is it illegal to farm, you guys? So well, I know it's understandable that Malta is very, very frustrating to play against, but only against players who are good. Otherwise, if you give a Malta to a player that does not know how to utilize its strengths and, you know, mitigate its weaknesses, he will still not gonna be, you know, able to do much, unlike maybe a good player. So thank you guys for watching. I have farmed a lot of credits, as premium status ship does earn a lot of credits. 193k damage, 4 kills, 5 floods, 12 sits, devastating strike on that poor Brisbane, almost devastating strike on the Yamagiri as well, Confederate, and then division achievements. And the team score, well, 2.5k base XP, just flat out way up in numbers compared to Goodally or any other teammate, which is really nice. It feels good. If you play well, you will get rewarded, although it's not easy to get a lot of base XP in carriers. But still, if you do well, which I did pretty much, as you can see here, let me show you. So I killed the Satsuma, devastated the Brisbane, Adara, Yamagiri. This is the other Yamagiri. The other Yamagiri that I basically did a lot of damage to is this guy. Then there's Khabarovsk and Jinan. Everyone taking some damage in one way or the other, which is pretty insane. Like, that shows how powerful Malta really is and how flexible it can get over time. So thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you into the next one. Peace out.